Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the science class. Today we begin a new chapter, chapter 4, Materials, Metals and Non-Metals. In this chapter, you will learn about the physical properties of metals and non-metals, the chemical properties of metals and non-metals, the reaction with oxygen, reaction with water, reaction with acids, reaction with bases, the displacement reactions, and the uses of metals and non-metals. We all are familiar with a number of materials like iron, aluminium, copper, etc. Some materials have been given below. So the iron, the appearance is shiny, it is very hard. Coal appearance is dull, it is not very hard. Sulfur is dull, not very hard. Aluminium is shiny, very hard. Copper is shiny and very hard. So metals can be distinguished from non-metals on the basis of their physical and chemical properties. So recall that luster and hardness are physical properties. So metals can be distinguished from non-metals on the basis of their physical and chemical properties. So let us see the physical properties of metals. Take a small iron nail, a coal piece, a piece of thick aluminium wire, and a pencil lead. Beat the iron nail with a hammer. Try to hit hard. Hit hard also the aluminium wire. Then repeat the same kind of treatment on the coal piece and pencil lead. You saw that the shape of the iron nail and the aluminium wire changed on beating. If they are beaten harder, this could be changed into sheets. You might be familiar with the silver foil used for decorating sweets. You must also be familiar with aluminium foil used for wrapping food. So the property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheets is called malleability. The property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheets is called malleability. So this is a characteristic property of metals. As you have noticed, materials like coal and pencil lead do not show this malleability property. You don't hold a hot metallic pan which is without a plastic or a wooden handle. Try to list some other experience in which a wooden or plastic handle protects you from being hurt while handling hot things. On the basis of this experience, you say about the conduction of heat by wood and plastic. We know wood and plastics are insulators. They do not conduct heat and electricity. So an electrician using his screwdriver, what kind of handle does it have? Of course, it will be having plastic handle. You can see some of the examples of metals here: copper, mercury, aluminium, lead, tin, magnesium, silver, titanium, tungsten, zinc, and many more. Recall how to make an electric circuit to test whether electricity can pass through an object or not. This you might have studied in 7th standard. You might have performed the activity with various objects in previous classes. Now repeat the same activity with the materials such as iron rod, nail, sulfur, coal piece, copper wire, etc. Observe and group these materials into good conductors and poor conductors. You observe that iron rod, nail, and copper wire are the good conductors of electricity, while rolled sulfur piece and coal piece are poor conductors of electricity. So, where do you find the use of aluminium and copper wires? Have you seen wires of coal? Definitely not. So, the property of metal by which it can be drawn into wires is called ductility. The property of metal by which it can be drawn into wires is called ductility. Now, notice the difference in sound on dropping an iron sheet or plate, a metal coin, and a piece of coal on the floor. Note the difference in the sound produced. The things made of metals produce ringing sound when struck hard. Suppose you have two boxes similar in appearance, one made of wood and the other of metal. Since metals produce ringing sound, they are said to be sonorous. So metals are sonorous. The materials other than metals are not sonorous. So after performing all these activities, we can say that some materials are hard, lustrous, malleable, ductile, sonorous, good conductors of heat and electricity. So some materials are hard, lustrous, malleable, ductile, sonorous, and good conductors of heat and electricity. So these are metals. The materials which generally possess these properties are called metals. The examples of metals are iron, copper, aluminium, calcium, magnesium, etc. Metals like sodium and potassium are soft and can be cut with a knife. Mercury is the only metal which is found in liquid state at room temperature. So these are exceptions. Metals like sodium and potassium are soft and can be cut with a knife. Mercury is the only metal which is found in liquid state at room temperature. Materials like coal and sulfur are soft and dull in appearance. They are not shiny. They break down into a powdery mass on tapping with a hammer. They are not sonorous and they are poor conductors of heat and electricity. These materials are called non-metals. The examples of non-metals are sulfur, carbon, oxygen, phosphorus, etc. You can see some of the examples: oxygen, carbon, selenium, sulfur, phosphorus, hydrogen, nitrogen. Now let us see the properties of metals and non-metals once again. Metals have luster, whereas non-metals are not lustrous. Metals are ductile, non-metals are non-ductile. Metals are malleable, non-metals are non-malleable. Metals conduct electricity and heat, whereas non-metals are poor conductors of heat and electricity. Metals are sonorous, non-metals are non-sonorous. Dear students, this is all for today's class. In next class, you will learn about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Till then, bye. Thank you.